Hi everyone, good evening. Thank you so much for joining this session. Please wait for a few minutes, others to join. Okay, let's start the session. Here I share my screen. I am Narmada. I am representing SPIKRA. Here we are providing sales services as well as Zoho products training. Today we are going to explore Zoho Inventory, which is a cloud-based inventory, which is a powerful inventory management software that helps businesses to streamline their stock, orders, as well as warehouse management. Some of the peoples that struggle in their business, they face some difficult situations like running out of stock when the customer placed an urgent order, or else excess stock sitting in their warehouses for a number of months, eating up their cash flows, or they are struggle to track the stock if they're having multiple warehouses. These challenges can be rectified at one point by using the Zoho inventory. What are the key features of the Zoho inventory? Means where it is a multi-channel order management. We can integrate with Amazon, eBay, Shopify. We can integrate with WhatsApp. We can integrate with the logistics like a shipper rocket like that. We can maintain the warehouse management. Real-time inventory tracking is possible. What are the committed stocks? What are the available stock? What is stock in hand? Likewise, we can able to track. And then barcode scanning also supporting the Zoho inventory. 40 plus reports are available in the Zoho inventory. By using the Zoho inventory, we can reduce the stock outs, means we can set the reorder point of that particular item, so we can prevent the low stock items and the overstock items. We can automate the orders, and we can integrate with the accounting software like Zoho Books as well as Zoho CRM, which is well suitable for the small and medium business enterprises. We can directly move on to the Zoho app. Once we log on to the Zoho inventory, the dashboard looks like this. Here we can get the quick snapshot of the what are the quantity in hand, what are the low stocks, top selling items, purchase order status, sales order status. Likewise, we can get the overview. Then I move on to the item module. Every organization involved with either the goods or services as items. Here we can define all the nomenclature of the item. What is the name of that particular item, SKU, unit, category, whether it belongs to the medicinal category or food or any type of categories, whether it may be a returnable item. Means here we have to enable this returnable item. Then it will reflect in the sales return. Once the customer raise the credit note, it will be reflect in the sales return. Means here we have to enable this sales item box. The Zoho Books itself fetches the HSN code. Here we can define the sales information, purchase information. Sales information comes on the sales account. On the purchase information comes under the cost of goods sold account. We can define the tax rated according to your organization. One of the main purpose of Zoho inventory is to track the particular item. By enabling this track inventory item means we can view what are the physical stocks, what are the committed stocks, what are the available stock in hand. Likewise, we can view the inventory of that particular item. While enabling this track bin location of that item means we can define which item is located in which warehouse. The bin location is nothing but a small place in your warehouse. we can easily retrieve that particular item. For example, if a bin warehouse have 10 floors, we can easily retrieve from 5th floor, 2nd shelf, this item is located. Likewise, we can easily retrieve from that bin location. Those items can be defined in that bin location. The advanced inventory tracking means if your item associate with the serial numbers or else batch numbers means we can define either by the serial numbers or by the batch numbers. Inventory account comes under the inventory asset, or else finished good, anything. The inventory valuation method is FIFO or weight average costing. As I said earlier, if you have, for example, if the opening stock is 3 means, here I am selected the batch means, we can add the batch reference number, manufacture date, expiry date, like that. If we select the track serial number means, here we can define the serial numbers like that. Then I move on to the composite item. Composite item is nothing but like a kit. If you're selling a product like a combination of laptop, charger, mouse as a single kit means, that will be defined in the composite item. Other nomenclatures are, as I said earlier, in the items. Another second thing, I move on to the item group. The item group is same as item composite items, which is differ in their attributes. If you're selling black t-shirts to the corporate, their attribute size may be differ, L, XL, XXL. Those specifications can be comes under this attribute. Other nomenclatures are same as item creation. Then I move on to the price list. Price list may be varied to person, distributor, dealer, at last consumers. The organization give different price lists to the different customer. That customer can be associated with the unique price list. Price list can be defined either by all items, markup percentage or markdown percentage, or else individual items either by unit pricing or volume pricing. If we select this unit pricing means we can directly define the rate, or else we can select the volume pricing means we set the range, start quantity and end quantity of that item belongs to the customer. And then I move on to the inventory adjustment. Every organization needs the inventory adjustment for some reasons. Transfer order, wastage, replacement, old stock, fire, something that may happen. So inventory adjustment module is more important. Here we can adjust that inventory either by the quantity adjustment or value adjustment. If you select this quantity adjustment means directly we can adjust either by the quantity. If you select the value adjustment means select the particular item, we can directly adjust by the value. And then I move on to the stock count. Stock count also nothing but same as inventory adjustment, but it gets it is submitted for the approval. The admin of the inventory, Zoho inventory person assigns some user to take the manual physical count of the particular item. He can schedule that stock count either by week or month or yearly once like that. He can give the reminder to that user and what are the items that that person is going to track. Likewise, he can assign, admin can assign the user to take the physical count of the item. The user has to use the Zoho Inventory mobile app. Either he can scan that item or that he can take the screenshot of that item and then he submit the reports to the admin. The admin has to verify whether it is matched with the system count or unmatched. Then he submitted for the approval to the admin. Then I move on to the pick list. Pick list is nothing but when the sales order raised means what are the items going to pick from which warehouse, from which bin location to which customer. Likewise, we can select the items from that bin location. For that purpose, pick list module is used. Here we can select the customer and what are the items to be picked for the customer. Then we can generate the pick list. Then I move on to the package module. Here in package module, here we can select the customer and what are the sales order associated with the particular customer will be displayed here. Here we can select the sales order and we can able to evaluate the geometrical specification of that particular package too. We can compute the length and height of the products, weight of that particular package, how many number of boxes belonging to that particular item needed. Likewise, we can able to define, which is used for the shipments. Then I move on to the shipment model. When the customer is selected, what are the sales order belong to the customer is associated here, and what are the packages are already packed here will be displayed here, and the shipment order will be automatically generated. We can define the shipment date, which carrier that is going to be shipped, tracking URL, all the shipping details of that particular item can be captured here. And then I move on to the transfer order. Transfer order is nothing but if the organization move their products from one warehouse to another warehouse means we can use this transfer order. If the warehouse and the destination, source warehouse and destination warehouse has different GST means the Zoho Inventory itself created the invoices and the bills. Move order module is nothing but if the item is moved within the bin location. Some point we have to retrieve the quick moving items. We have to retrieve that item quickly means we can place it in a first shelf in a first floor like that. In such situations, we can use this move order to reorder that items. Then I move on to the sales module. Here we can create the customer. We can enter or define all the inputs of the customer, or else we can enter the GST detail of the customer means the GST portal itself pre-fill all the details of the particular customer, addresses, contact persons, all the details we can define here. If any other, as I said earlier, if any price list is associated with the customer means here we can define it. We can enable the portal to the particular customer. We can set credit limit to the customer. If the customer have different multi-currency means here we can define the currency to belonging to the customer. And then I move on to the retainer invoice. Retainer invoice is nothing but if you are collecting the advance amount from the customer means those details will be captured in the retainer invoice, from which customer, retainer invoice number, description, amount, all the details will be captured here. And then I move on to the sales order. Here we can select the customer. We can set the sales order number, or else we can auto-populate that number. Here we can define the items, which are the items that are going to be considered as the sales order. Here we can select from which warehouse those items are going to be dispatched. We can whether we can tax exclusive or tax inclusive. We can select the a particular price to that customer. Once a sales order is created, the sales orders can be converted into invoices, either a partial invoice or fully invoice. Here it shows in the invoice in the draft sheet. Here we can submit to the approval. Once we get approved, we can record the payment either by the payment received module, or else we can directly convert that invoices into record payment. If the customer raises the credit note, either he asked for replacements or some other products like that, we can raise the credit note that will be reflected in the sales return. Then I move on to the e-way bill module. The e-way bill module is integrate with the e-way Zoho Inventory, means here we can select the customer and the invoice number, all the details of the customer and all the details of the invoice will be captured. All the invoice details will be captured here. Here we can define the transportation details, vehicle number, vehicle type, transporter document details, all will be captured here. Then I move on to the vendors. As I said earlier to the customer, we can define all the vendor details here, or else we can, if you are integrated with the GST portal, means the GST portal itself pre-filled all the details of the vendors. Here also we can define the multi-currency and then price list to the different vendors, enable vendor portal, we can upload documents like that, we can define all the details here. We can upload the bank details of the vendors. To raise the purchase order, here we have to select the vendor name, source of supply, destination of supply, delivery address, either maybe a warehouse or the customer point. If the customer need a requirement, means we can directly send the dispatch items to the customer, which is called as drop shipment. Once the purchase order generated, once we generate the purchase order, it convert into purchase receipts, and purchase receipts items will be converted into bill, and for that bills we can against the payment made. If the vendors, if we raises the debit note, means that those details will be captured under the vendor credits. Then I move on to the reports. Zoho Inventory provide 40 plus system generated reports, sales by customer, sales by item, If we move on to the inventory means landed cost summary, stock summary report, ABC classification, stock counts. Likewise, n number of reports are available in Zoho Inventory. We can customize that reports, or else we can schedule that reports, or else we can create multiple reports. If you are having any documents means that can be uploaded in the document module. Just a brief overview of the settings. Here we can define the multiple warehouses, or else we can define the branches. We can set the approvals either by the hierarchy level or single level or multi-level for the sales module, purchase module, and then inventory module. We can invite the user by sending the email to their email as a notification. Once they accept the invitation, they can use the Zoho Inventory. We can set permissions to the roles according to their roles. The admin have the all access of that module. Some we can restrict the some access to some other users. We can set the taxes for the organization. If you are having multiple currency means that also possible in Zoho Inventory. We can set reminders to the customers and vendors if their invoices is overdue. If their bill is overdue means we can set the reminders either by the email notification or in-app notification if they are using our customer portal or vendor portal, or SMS notification. We can integrate the WhatsApp business too. Here we can enable the customer portal or vendor portal. We can set different transaction series number to the different transaction. For invoices, this type of number INV001, INV002. According to your organization, for the invoices, sales order, purchases, we can define the transaction numbers. We can customize the PDF templates for the invoices, email notification, sales order. We can able to, already we are having the default templates, as well as we can customize the templates. And then the email notification also default templates, as well as we can customize the email notifications. If your organization have any cost center tag means we can define it in the reporting tags. And then the main part of Zoho Inventory is able to integrate with many other apps, as well as Zoho apps, as well as the third-party apps like Zoho CRM, Zoho Billing, Zoho Books, like that. WhatsApp integration is also possible. We can integrate with the Amazon, eBay, like that. Then I move on to the pricing plans. Here the Zoho Inventory have the standard plans, professional plans, and premium tiers. You can choose according to the features needed for your organizations. Zoho Inventory is well suited for the retail businesses, wholesale distributors, e-commerce sellers. Most of us use the Zoho Inventory, which is affordable and scalable. 24/7 customer support, either by the chat box, email support, telephonic conversation, like that. Kindly use the Zoho Inventory app. You can ping me at sales@spikra.com. Thank you for joining this session. Once again, thank you.